The DJI Pocket 2 is one of my favourite little mini cameras. It really is. Hi, I'm just looking at the Pocket 2 today, and in comparison to the Pocket 1 it's very similar, but the two cameras, the Osmo Action and the Pocket 2, are really very good cameras. And the reason I like them both is because the Action with its digital stabilisation is fantastic for what it says on the box, Action, and the Pocket 2 for straight videoing where you want really stable video, because it has this inbuilt gimbal that can be faced backwards towards you as well. It's a fantastic little camera to use in that respect. Both the Action and the Pocket 2 are the type of cameras that when you use them, you know that the results are going to be pretty good whatever you do, really, most of the time. This is the straight colour. It's not using D-Cine like. This is the colour out of the box, and I'm using it in auto, in and out of the sun. And I know when I get home I'm going to get reasonable results. So with its inbuilt stabilisation, you get really smooth results, even when you're walking, as I am now, quite fast. If you've moved from another Action camera to the Osmo Pocket 2, the one thing that you might find is confusing is the focus. There are two modes on the Pocket 2. One is a single focus and the other is continual focus, and it's very easy to set the camera on single focus and then wonder why you're not in focus but the background is. So if you're in any doubt about the focus, then the answer is just tap the screen and watch out for that little green box to show you where you're focused on, and you've got it. There it is. So at the moment I'm focused on my face, and actually when you're in reverse mode it focuses automatically. It searches for faces. That brings me onto the screen. Actually, just one thing about this screen: if you're like me, you wear glasses and you're slightly short-sighted, that screen can be a little bit difficult to contend with. So I always set it up before I go outside, and set it basically so it stays the same and I don't have to touch too much. The only thing I tend to play about with is the focusing. The Pocket 2 comes with two bases. The first one is just the standard base where it's just got a gap to put the plug through, and the second one is one that clips on underneath there where you can attach a tripod to the bottom, which is really handy. The one thing I have found though with that base is that it clips on and you try and get it off, it's a killer. The secret, I think, is keep the tripod attached and use the tripod to lever. It's quite stiff. Now I can understand why it's that stiff, because obviously it's got to hold the camera without dropping it when you're on a tripod, but really they should have put a clip on, and that would have held it nice and solid and made it easier to get off. Now I've got the do-it-all handle on at the moment, and that's it. That has actually got the clip mechanism that I'm talking about. This one clips on and it works absolutely fine. You can take it on and off as you like, and there's no big problem with it. And the advantage is you've also got the tripod adapter at the bottom, the 1/4" thread, but also you can feed a microphone directly into the side of it. I haven't got the radio mic because I've already got the Rode wireless goes, so I'm just using a lavalier at the moment straight into the camera. It's great, it works fine. So this is now being used with a lavalier I'm wearing on me here. It's plugged directly into the do-it-all handle, which actually makes the Pocket 2 easier to hold as well. And this is just the straight profile, the straight colour profile. The lens with this camera is slightly wider than the old Pocket, and that's actually quite nice for vlogging and things like this. They also supply a wide angle lens if you want to buy one. So I think the lens is nice. But the thing is, not only is the lens wider, but all the old things that fit on it, like ND filters and things, they fit as well, which is a great move on Osmo's part, I think. One lens attachment I often use is a graduated filter, especially in the UK where you can get such grey skies. But the thing is, in that grey you can get some really nice detail in clouds if you use a graduated filter, and my old graduated filters still fit on this, which is great news. It's also got this rather useful feature that if you're photographing something or videoing something and you want to move the lens quickly, you can actually grab the camera and just push it down. I'll show you what I mean. Now all I did was I just pushed the camera down physically with my fingers. The gimbal's got two speeds, which is really handy. This is currently set on the slow speed, and the nice thing about this is if you just yank the camera really fast to another location, it just goes really smoothly. So from this nice little pastoral scene, I'm going to yank the camera and take it to another scene. Here we go, 1, 2, 3. I'm actually pointing at the scene and it's just following me around now, and that's what happens. This gimbal is absolutely amazing. If I go back again, now those two scenes were 180 degrees apart. Although it's got a zoom lens, it's I think it's about 4 times. It's okay, but it's actually digital, so it's not the best. So this is currently zoomed in at the sheep, and if I pull back, that's the view that I get with the standard lens as it is. So hopefully with this camera you can see how easily it seems to lock on and focus on faces in particular. It does seem to lock on pretty well. You can turn that off if you want to, and you can move the focus around, but what comes over with this camera is how nice the colour is. Oh, I've got a twig in the face, sun in my face as well. How nice the camera actually looks, how the footage comes out quite nice looking. It's pretty sharp, and most important of all, look how smooth it is. It really is smooth. It's not an action camera, and it's not designed to be an action camera. This is more like a carry it in your pocket video camera or ordinary camera, but basically it's dead smooth, really smooth. I'm not taking particular care with how I video. I'm just holding it at arm's length. It's not even on a stick, and the gimbal is absolutely fantastic. I have mine set to slow, but if you want to and you're following fast things, you can speed that up, but I generally find slow really smooths out your footage beautifully. So this is my favorite video camera to carry around in my pocket, and the Action, the Osmo Action, is my favorite action camera because they're both reliable, they both give really good color, they both give excellent picture. This one I think gives a better picture than the Osmo Action, slightly a bit sharper, and I love the smoothness of both, although the Action is a digital gimbal and this one is a physical gimbal. The only thing with a physical gimbal is you do get the feeling that you need to be a little bit careful with the way you handle it, and there are a few little misgivings I have, which I'll talk about when I get home. So what are the pluses and minuses of the Pocket 2? On the plus side, excellent picture quality, which has great contrast and colour, pretty much like the Pocket 1. Excellent stability with a choice of 2 speeds for the gimbal. You can either adjust the focus yourself manually or leave it on continual focus, so you can pick and choose what you want in focus. The Pocket 2 now comes with a joystick control and a little base that goes on the bottom here for the mounting of a tripod. The Do-It-All handle, which is the one I've got on at the moment, allows you to put a tripod in the bottom. It allows you to hear stuff played back on its speaker. It allows you to plug a microphone directly in, and actually it does make it a lot easier to hold. The only thing is you have to buy the Do-It-All handle separately. The old Pocket filters that I have for my Pocket fit on the Pocket 2. No more money to spend. On the minus side, the tripod base that comes with the Pocket 2 is really difficult to get off. I can understand why it's so tight, because if you think about it, that's going to have to hold the weight of the camera, then it needs to be solid. But they should have fitted really a little clip mechanism like the Do-It-All base has. What you do is you unclip it and it comes off normally quite easily. There you are, it's off. But with the other one you have to struggle. It's quite difficult sometimes. Having such a delicate gimbal makes you feel that you have to treat this very delicately when you're out, and I'm always frightened of dropping it or banging it because this is such a tiny mechanism and it just feels as though it's a bit fragile to me. The case that comes with the Pocket 2 is pretty tight. It's not like the old one where you had the strap. It actually holds the Pocket in there, so when you put it in it grips. Now I'm not convinced because that's a little bit tight, and I just get the feeling that when you pull it out one day, if there's a bit of grit in there, it's going to scratch the display. So for that reason, I don't actually use the Pocket 2 case. I think it's a bit difficult. I actually just use this thing. I just use a Movo bag, and I wrap it up there. So I hold the gimbal still. I put it in so that it's still in there, and just wrap it. And I just feel that that's not going to scratch it. For both versions of the Pocket, this little display screen is tiny. I don't know if this is going to show, but looking at that, if you wear glasses, can be quite difficult, and I have found it a little bit difficult with my eyesight when I'm out and about. So I tend to adjust it before I go out because it's such a tiny screen to look at. The connection to the phone is done by taking the joystick off here and then putting in a USB-C connector. Now the USB connector then sticks out the side, you just push it into the phone. I don't actually like that connection. I try not to use it because to me it's like a weak point, and I just feel that one day I could take that out and be using it out and bend it or pull it and break the plug. Having said that, the Osmo Action and the Pocket 2 are my 2 favourite miniature cameras. because when you're out and about videoing, you know that the results you're going to get are going to be pretty acceptable when you get home, and you don't have to keep worrying about whether the footage is over or underexposed, or whether it's just more easy to use. And I find that most things on this come out pretty sharp and pretty well. Just on the sharpness though, bear in mind it's a tiny screen and it's very difficult to judge that sharpness, and make sure you've either got the continual focus on so that it is focusing on things, or tap on things to focus, or use the single focus and tap on things. Just be aware of the focus, because this thing is not like an action camera. Everything is not in focus. It actually has depth of field, and that needs to be controlled, and controlling it on this tiny screen is quite difficult because you can't actually see it. And then when you find out, you get home and you find out you've got your background in focus and not your face, because you forgot to turn the single focus off, or you didn't tap on your face, or it didn't have the box come up to get you. So just be aware that the focusing on this is not easily seen, and you normally will get really good results. I hope this was useful to you and might help you make a decision should you upgrade say from a Pocket 1, the first edition. I think it's a great camera, and it's one that I get terrific results from. So I hope this was useful, and I hope to see you next time. Cheers for now.